Hello and welcome to this edition of the author interviews for the COABE Journal. I'm Don Finn and I serve as the journal editor. I'm also past president of the Coalition on Adult Basic Education. And this particular conversation is going to be talking about the journal and the formation of the journal itself. So it's going to be a little bit different in focusing on a specific article, but actually going to be focusing a little bit on the formation of the journal. And so we have our guest editor for this edition, Olga. I'm just going to go ahead and pass it over to you, and you can introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you for that. My name is Olga Escamilla, and I am a professional development specialist with the Texas Center for the Advancement of Literacy and Learning, and that, or TCAL, out of Texas. So we are the organization that provides professional development for the state of Texas for the adult educators in the state of Texas for the Texas Workforce Commission Adult Education and Literacy Division. So prior to that, I served as a PD chair for COABE, and I most recently came off of serving as chair for AALPD since 2021. So it was an exciting ride with that, and I continue to move forward with professional development. Thank you, Don.
So thanks, Olga. And it's interesting because you and I actually have similar backgrounds. I served for a while as the overstate professional development for Virginia, for the Commonwealth of Virginia, and then moved on to higher education, but continued, with the interest in professional development. And so the origins of this journal focusing on professional development actually originated with an email from Olga to me saying, hey, the COABE Journal is theme based, and it might be interesting to talk a little bit about professional development. And at that time, Olga, you were chair of AALPD, and so we thought it was a great idea and went ahead with that. And so we're going to talk a little bit about the journal itself and a little bit about the process, but also the things that interested us. So there are actually two articles in the journal that I want to draw your attention to. The lead article is co-authored by Olga and myself, and it is called Professional Development for Adult Practitioners: Considerations for Effective Practice. And Olga also is a co-author on an article that highlights the Association for Adult Literacy Professional Developers, and it gives a little bit of a background and a history of that. So I encourage our readers to take a look at both of those articles to gain some insights. But Olga, let me kick it over to you. So as we went through the process, particularly as co-editing this thing, this particular edition, what were some of the things that you found interesting as far as the types and the number and the types of article submissions that came in for this edition?
I think that's a really good question. So I think that some of the articles that I saw, or maybe they were contributions, I was surprised, or maybe not, to see less research than more opinion articles about professional development. So one of the reasons that I had reached out was to gather more research-based articles on professional development. So because of that lack of them, but we got a lot of great articles about digital literacy, incorporating that into professional development, which is so important. And we did get a few research articles that were great, also about digital literacy and professional development. So all really good submissions, really hard to look through all those and make those final decisions.
Yeah, I would agree with you. And that's one of the issues that we have all the time is that, more and more people want to share their experiences, share their research, share materials and effective practices. And the COABE Journal is one resource that is gaining more and more readership with each edition and each time that we turn one out. So we really appreciate the interest that folks have in it. To your point, too, about digital literacy, as we had discussed previously, we had a digital literacy focused edition of the COABE Journal, and it was timely, particularly with the pandemic and a lot of the shifts that needed to happen. We also had a lessons from COVID edition, and many of those contributions also focused on digital literacy and so on. So that's one of the things that we highlighted as well in our piece in our co-authored piece as well. So from your vantage point, what do you see as far as the need for digital literacy instruction for practitioners and really the impact that it has on their learners?
Oh my goodness, that's a great question. So I had been an instructor. Let me go back. I'm going to take you back a little bit. I've been an instructor of high school equivalency, or back then it was GED, since 1999. And in 1999, we were starting to teach our students computers. And it was something new. We were teaching them about Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and the internet, and developing a email account. Well, we were told that we couldn't teach digital literacy or technology in the classroom in adult education back then. So I was just like, oh my goodness, how can we teach our students for the jobs of the future if we can't even incorporate these things? And these are so important. And so much more today. So I was really glad to see all those articles and that incorporation of that technology, because if our professional developers aren't up to speed with all of this new technology and ways to be able to help our students apply for jobs, just even learning that technology, because all of our jobs, not all, but many of our jobs are technology based. So how are we preparing our instructors to prepare our students for those jobs of the future? So really, really an important aspect today.
And I'd have to agree with you. You know, I began teaching in an adult high school program in the early 90s. And we did have access to wired computers. And so the internet itself was one of those things that was gaining in popularity and so on. But there was a real deficit in the familiarity of our students with the internet and the potential for the internet. And of course, you know, the reliability of the tools. But fast forward now to where we are. Everybody has a smartphone, it seems, and can access not only the web but also learning programs, and can actually produce documents and all types of things, directly from their phones and so on. And yet the guidance too or the requirements, the technology requirements in the jobs, in the job sites, and for parents who are helping their children perhaps with homework and all those types of things is super important. And yet, one of the things that we highlighted too, and that we found, and that I'm still surprised by, is that we really don't have uniform professional development standards or regulations across the country. And I think that's one of the things that, and we highlight, for example, in our article, we highlight Learning Forward, which has some really great professional development standards that are a little bit more general to education, but actually AALPD has been on the forefront and producing and recommending professional development standards, particularly in adult education. Anything you want to add about those standards and maybe where people can find them?
So yes, AALPD does have standards, and they are listed or provided on the AALPD website along with I believe, the Learning Forward standards. And if all you have to do is Google AALPD, and you should be able to pull up, the AALPD comes up, and if you click on that, there is a tab that says AALPD standards. So they're out there. What we're doing right now is we're looking at revising, moving forward with the times, making them up to date, but revising them. But they're out there, and we're more than glad to have individuals come out to our website, again, Google ALPD, and we're there.
Sounds great. Yeah. And also, when you're on the website, you can read a little bit about AALPD. AALPD has been around now for 20 years. And I think that's really exciting. And I think that the hand, particularly that AALPD has in partnership with COABE, and again, this journal is just another partnership between the two organizations. We really appreciate the work that AALPD has done as a strand partner for the COABE conference. And both organizations are very tied to professional development and promoting professional practices and effective professional practices for practitioners, for teachers, for administrators. I know that we offer, and we've done many things in concert with one another as organizations for not only for the conference, but even preparation for the conference, and helping with providing presenter guidelines. You and some of your colleagues joined with COABE to produce some videos and have a webinar actually that was recorded to talk about effective PD practices and presentation practices, particularly because moving with the times, the COABE conference now has been, we went from completely in person to immediately in 2020, we switched to fully online, which we did in 2021 and 2020 and 2021. And then 2022, we went to a hybrid format and continue to do that. So thank you to AELPD and Olga, to you for helping our presenters to be cognizant of effective practices for presenting at a conference such as COABE. So let me ask you to conclude. So do you have anything else that you want to share as far as the importance of professional development, anything related to this special edition that we put together, or anything else for the good of the cause for our listeners?
Yes, I do want to thank COABE. I want to thank the COABE editor and the COABE board for moving forward with this edition. And I think it's, again, I just reiterate that professional development is so important for our educators throughout the nation to be prepared to provide that quality instruction for our students, and also bring more information to our adult educators, because how else are we going to pass the word or get the word out about different things that are going on in the nation? I think it's so important, and that is one of the reasons why we have our ALPD and some of our presentations there, and I know that COABE does the same. We're moving adult ed forward. We're sharing this information so that everybody across the nation is going to know about all of these great things that are happening in professional development and do them in their areas, regions, states, what have you. So thank you to COABE for continuing to partner with ALPD, and I look forward to more. So thank you.
And thank you, Olga, again for your leadership and for promoting this idea for this collaboration. So, folks, you can download the COABE journal that focuses on professional development and all of the previous editions of the COABE journal. Just go to coabe.org, click on the COABE journal link at the top of the page, and thank you so much for tuning in. Olga, thank you for your partnership and for your contributions to for being willing to talk about the edition and promoting the edition. And again, to our readers, thank you so much for your support of COABE and the COABE Journal. So until next time, we wish you well.